People never notice the small things. If you're quiet enough, if you don't draw attention, you become invisible. I learned that as a kid, sitting for hours on the stairs, listening to neighbors argue through the walls. It was comforting, hearing other people's voices, knowing I was close but no one suspected a thing. She moved into our building 3 years ago. I noticed her right away, even though she never noticed me. She was the type who always seemed in a hurry, keys ready in her hand, eyes on the ground. I watched her carry heavy bags, pause at her door to check if she'd forgotten something in her car. I knew she lived alone, never heard a man's voice from her apartment. That mattered. I didn't do anything strange at first. I just watched, from my window, from the hallway, sometimes from my car when she came home from work. I learned her schedule, when she left, when she came back, when she took out the trash. I even knew what groceries she bought, because sometimes I'd pick up her receipts from the dumpster. People don't realize how much they leave behind. I wasn't dangerous, I just wanted to know. It's not a crime to be curious about someone's life, not if you don't interfere. I never touched her things, never went inside her apartment. I was just nearby. I liked the feeling of control, being able to predict her next move. It made me feel calm. One day I noticed she changed her hair. It was strange, she always wore it up, but that day she let it down. I wondered if she'd met someone new. I checked her social media. Nothing suspicious, just pictures of coffee, books, her cat. She didn't like to share personal things online. That made her even more interesting. I started arranging little coincidences, leaving my apartment just as she got home. She'd nod at me, sometimes smile, but always seemed in a rush. Once I helped her carry her bags to her door. She thanked me, but didn't invite me in. That was smart. I didn't want to scare her. Over time, I learned more. I knew when she was sick because her window stayed closed all day. I knew when she got paid because she brought home more shopping bags. I even knew when she argued with her mom on the phone, her voice would get sharp, then she'd sit on the windowsill in silence for a long time. I never thought I was doing anything wrong. I was just paying attention. People don't appreciate attention until it's too late. Sometimes I'd catch her glancing over her shoulder in the parking lot, keys clutched tight between her fingers. She always checked the back seat before getting in her car. I admired that. She was careful, but not careful enough. She never noticed the small things, like the way her mailbox would be just slightly ajar after she checked it, or how the hallway light outside her door would flicker for a second longer when she walked by. I made sure of that. I started to learn her patterns so well that I could predict her mood just by the way she walked. On Mondays, she moved quickly, head down, earbuds in. Fridays, she lingered by the mailboxes, sometimes scrolling through her phone, sometimes just staring at nothing. I wondered what she was thinking about in those moments. I like to imagine she was thinking about me, even though I knew she wasn't. There were times I wanted to say more than just hello. I rehearsed conversations in my head, imagined her laughing at my jokes, asking me about my day. But I knew better than to push. People get suspicious when you try too hard. It's better to be the neighbor who's always there, always polite, always helpful. The kind of person no one remembers until they need something. I started leaving little things for her. Nothing obvious, just a package of her favorite tea left outside her door, a book she'd mentioned once on the phone, a note with a quote I thought she'd like. I never signed them. She'd post about it online sometimes, wondering who her mystery neighbor was. Her friends joked about secret admirers. She laughed it off, but I could tell she was unsettled. She started double-checking her locks at night. I could hear the click from my apartment. One night I heard her crying through the wall. Not loud, just soft, muffled sobs. I sat on my side, listening, feeling something twist inside me. I wanted to go to her, to tell her she wasn't alone, that I was right there. But I stayed where I was. I knew my place. After that, she changed. She started coming home later, sometimes with friends, sometimes with a man I didn't recognize. I watched them from my window, the way she laughed a little too loudly, the way she kept glancing over her shoulder. She was scared, but she didn't know of what. Or maybe she did. I started to worry she might move away. The thought made me restless. I couldn't let that happen. I needed her here, where I could keep her safe, where I could watch over her. I started following her, just to be sure. Not close enough to be seen, just enough to know where she went, who she talked to, what she did when she thought no one was watching. She never saw me. No one ever does. It was a Thursday when everything changed. She came home earlier than usual, her steps quick and uneven. I watched from behind my blinds as she fumbled with her keys, glancing back at the parking lot. She looked right at my window, but I knew she couldn't see me. I'd made sure of that. That night, I heard voices in the hallway, her voice tense and low, and another deeper one. I pressed my ear to the door. She was talking to the building manager, asking about the security cameras, about strange noises, about someone leaving things at her door. The manager tried to reassure her, but I could hear the doubt in his voice. He didn't believe her. No one ever does, not at first. I realized I'd gotten careless. The tea, the book, the notes. Too much, too soon. I should have waited. I should have stayed invisible. But it was too late for that now. The next day, I saw a police car parked outside. Two officers walked the halls, knocking on doors, asking questions. When they came to mine, I smiled, answered politely, told them I hadn't seen anything unusual. They thanked me and moved on. I watched them leave, heart pounding, hands steady. That night, I heard her crying again, but this time it was different. There was fear in it, sharp and raw. I sat in the dark listening, feeling the walls close in. I knew she was talking about me now. I could feel it in the way the neighbors looked at me, in the way the building manager avoided my eyes. A week later, she was gone, moved out in the middle of the day, her car packed with boxes, her face pale and drawn. I watched from my window as she drove away, never looking back. The apartment stayed empty for a while after that. Sometimes I'd stand in the hallway staring at her old door, listening for sounds that would never come. People say you can't miss what you never had, but they're wrong. I miss her every day. I still watch the building, still listen for footsteps, still wait for someone to notice me. But no one ever does. Not really. Until the day the police came back, this time with a warrant, and I realized I'd left more behind than I thought. They found the notes, the photos, the little things I'd collected. They found everything. As they led me away, I looked back at her empty window, and for the first time, I wondered if she was watching me now. But I didn't feel regret. I never do.